Exodus chapter 12. Easter. 1. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in Egypt. 2. This should be the first month of the year for you. 3. Tell the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month every man should set apart a lamb or a goat for his family, one for each house. 4. If a family is too small for an entire animal, it should share it with its nearest neighbor, according to the number of people and according to what each one can eat. 5. The chosen animal will be a 1-year-old male, without blemish, and can be lamb or goat. 6. Keep it until the 14th day of the month, when the entire community of Israel will sacrifice it at sunset. 7. Then pass some of the blood on the sides and upper beams of the doors of the houses in which you will eat the animal. 8. That same night they will eat the meat roasted on the fire, with bitter herbs and unleavened bread. 9. Do not eat the meat raw, nor cooked in water, but roasted on the fire, head, legs and viscera. 10. Leave nothing left until morning. If that happens, burn what's left. 11. As you eat, be ready to leave, belt in place, sandals on your feet and staff in your hand. Eat hurriedly. This is the Passover of the Lord. 12. That very night I will pass through Egypt and kill all the firstborn, both men and beasts, and execute judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. 13. The blood will be a sign to indicate the houses you are in. When I see the blood, I will pass it on. The plague of destruction will not strike you when I smite Egypt. 14. This day will be a memorial that you and all your descendants will celebrate as a feast to the Lord. Celebrate it as a perpetual decree. 15. For 7 days eat unleavened bread. On the first day take the leaven out of the house, because whoever eats anything fermented, from the first to the 7th day, will be eliminated from Israel. 16. Call a holy meeting on the first day and another on the 7th. Don't do any work on these days except preparing food for everyone. That's all they can do. 17. Celebrate the feast of unleavened bread, for it was on that very day that I brought your armies out of Egypt. Celebrate this day as a perpetual decree for all your generations. 18. In the first month eat unleavened bread, from the evening of the 14th day until the evening of the 21st. 19. For 7 days you should have no leaven at home. Whoever eats anything fermented will be eliminated from the community of Israel, whether foreign or a native of the land. 20. Do not eat anything fermented. Wherever you live, eat only unleavened bread. 21. Then Moses summoned all the authorities of Israel and said to them, Choose a lamb or a goat for each family. Sacrifice it to celebrate Easter. 22. Wet a bundle of hyssop in the blood that is in the basin and pass the blood on the upper beam and on the sides of the doors. None of you will be able to leave the house until dawn. 23. When the Lord passes through the land to kill the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the upper beam and on the sides of the door and will pass over that door, and will not allow the destroyer to enter your house to kill you. 24. Obey these instructions as a perpetual decree for you and your descendants. 25. When you enter the land that the Lord has promised to give you, celebrate this ceremony. 26. When your children ask, What does this ceremony mean? 27. Answer them, It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, who passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt and spared our homes when he killed the Egyptians. Then the people bowed in worship. The Exodus. 28. Then the Israelites withdrew and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. 29. Then, at midnight, the Lord killed all the firstborn of Egypt, from the eldest son of Pharaoh, heir to the throne, to the eldest son of the prisoner who was in the dungeon, and also all the first offspring of the cattle. 30. In the middle of the night Pharaoh, all his advisers and all the Egyptians stood up. And there was great weeping in Egypt, for there was no house that did not have a dead man. 31. That same night Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron and said to them, Get out of the midst of my people at once, you and the Israelites. You will worship the Lord as you have requested. 32. Take your flocks, as you have said, and bless me also. 33. The Egyptians pressured the people to hurry out of the country, saying, We will all die. 34. Then the people took the unleavened bread dough and carried it on their shoulders, in the kneading machines wrapped in their clothes. 35. The Israelites obeyed Moses' command and asked the Egyptians for silver and gold objects, as well as clothing. 36. The Lord gave the people a favorable disposition on the part of the Egyptians, so that they gave them what they asked for, so they dispossessed the Egyptians. 37. The Israelites went from Ramesses to Succoth. There were about 600,000 men on foot, as well as women and children. 38. A great multitude of foreigners of every kind followed with them, besides great flocks, both of oxen and of sheep and goats. 39. With the dough they had taken from Egypt, they made unleavened bread. The dough had not fermented, for they were expelled from Egypt and had no time to prepare food. 40. Now, the period that the Israelites lived in Egypt was 430 years. 41. On the day that the 430 years were completed, all the armies of the Lord came out of Egypt. The institution of Easter. 42. Just as the Lord spent that night in vigil to bring the Israelites out of Egypt, so they must also stand vigil that same night to honor the Lord for all their generations. 43. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, These are the laws of the Passover, no stranger shall eat it. 44. The purchased slave may eat of the Passover, after being circumcised. 45. But the temporary resident and her contract worker will not eat. 46. You will eat it in one house. Do not take any piece of meat out of the house or break any of the bones. 47. The entire community of Israel will have to celebrate the Passover. 48. Any resident stranger among you who wishes to celebrate the Passover of the Lord will have to circumcise all the males of his family, then you can participate as the natural of the earth. No uncircumcised person may participate. 49. The same law shall apply to the native of the land and to the resident alien. 50. All the Israelites did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. 51. On the same day the Lord brought the Israelites out of Egypt, organized according to their divisions.